and probably bore results, it is never adequate to every situation, and certainly has not been today.
Well, Dr. Maloney, I certainly understand that it's easier in hindsight to analyze how to figure these out than it is before they happen. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this afternoon.
Thank you. I know.
Let's go now.
Of course, we don't know if the suspects have televisions as well, so we're very hesitant to give too much specific detail about the tactical operations that are happening here. We can tell you there are probably about a half dozen ambulances that have staged here. This is the main tactical operations. We have SWAT teams from all across the metropolitan here, at least 6 different districts, and there are probably 200 to 250 officers on scene here, including federal officers who have just shown up as well.
A dramatic rescue just about 5 minutes ago. We saw an eye view of the SWAT team suddenly point their rifles at the school, and as they were pointing the rifles at the school, it became apparent that they were providing cover for a group of students who were running out of the school. It was like they were in one gathering and running together, kind of crouched down as the rifles remained pointed at the school. They ran behind a dumpster and then took cover and then ran again to where they could get away from any kind of gunshot. But apparently the SWAT team here helping any students who were still inside the school get out of there. And it's not apparent at this point whether these kids were being held hostage or if they'd been sitting in there for 2 hours waiting for a chance to leave, to get out of the way of these apparent students dressed in black trench coats and in black masks with their semi-automatic rifles.
John told us that there were law officers in Air Tracker 7 earlier today just to survey the scene and to see if there were any suspects perhaps on the roof to take shots, and there's one of those law officers right now. It would be wonderful to get insight as to what he's thinking. I'm not sure that we will, though, Sean, because we don't want to tip off any of the suspects who may still be watching.
Exactly. There are some victims that have been transported to surrounding hospitals. 7 News reporter Lance Hernandez is on the phone with us, and he is standing by at St. Anthony's. Lance, what can you tell us from your perspective?
Well, I'm on the helipad here at St. Anthony's, and an Air Life chopper has just landed, we are told, with a patient that is being transferred over from Littleton Hospital. Evidently one of the student victims from the high school that was first taken to Littleton Hospital, treated there preliminarily, and then transferred over here to St. Anthony's. They're in the process of unloading him from that chopper right now. That brings to 3 the total number of students that are being treated at this hospital. Now, this one here appears to be a male victim. He appears to be conscious as they are unloading him from the chopper. I saw him lifting his head up briefly to watch paramedics who are unloading him from the hospital. They are wheeling him now toward the emergency exits. Can't tell for sure where his wounds are, but this one here, again, is a patient who appears to be in conscious condition. They're rolling him toward the emergency doors now. And I do see some wounds on his leg. Apparently, this one here was shot in the knee area. His right knee is bandaged up, but there were some obvious wounds there. He is, as I mentioned, conscious as he's being wheeled into the hospital. Earlier, about an hour and a half ago, they brought in 2 other victims by ambulance, 1 male and 1 female. At last report, they were reported to be in critical condition. No other information on the extent of their wounds or where they were wounded. So again, over here at St. Anthony Central, they now have 3 victims that are being treated. Back to you.
Lance, are you hearing from any hospital officials out there how many total victims there may be? We, of course, are getting varying accounts, 7 to 8, with different types of wounds and different conditions. Are hospital officials saying what they are hearing through the grapevine, perhaps?
Swedish Medical Center is not expecting any more admissions.
Are saying anywhere from 8 to possibly 12.
Are you seeing any parents showing up at this point?
Well, I have to tell you, we've been up on the helipad for the last 20 minutes waiting for this one here. So I haven't been at the emergency room exit, to catch any family members or parents that may be arriving. But there obviously are three victims here, so there should be 3 families en route, if not already here.
Lance, you've been on journalistic duties for years. You've seen plenty of helicopters arrive with injured patients. Anything different about this situation since it is a high school or because of the circumstances? What is your sense of this?
Well, you see stories like this happen on television, and you hear this from people that experience crime or some kind of tragedy in their own way, but you've never seen, a shooting like this happening. I've never seen a shooting happen like this at a school in Denver or any city that I've worked at. This one here, I can just say my first thought was heartening.
As you are looking at live shots from Columbine High School, there appears to be people being rescued by a SWAT team. Earlier, the SWAT team was responsible for a larger group of students being rescued. There you see them scrambling to safety under the cover of SWAT teams armed with automatic rifles. What they are escaping from, of course, is a shooting that has occurred at Columbine, apparently by 3 disgruntled students who have still eluded the SWAT team's capture. There was a scene earlier, about a half hour earlier, where we thought the suspects were being captured and put in police cars. Apparently, they were not the suspects. We have with us from Washington Congressman Thomas Tancredo. He is a Republican from Colorado. And Congressman, this is within your district?
It is not only within my district, it is approximately 1 mile from my home.
Now, we are looking, Congressman, at some very dramatic footage right now. This is live from the scene as these students are apparently being saved by the SWAT team. How well prepared this SWAT team looks particularly
shot wounds at this point is what we're seeing in
police in this area for this kind of an emergency.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they have had to be prepared for a long time. I mean, because things like this have happened often.
And they are reporting that they can see other victims who are down.
Is there any way to tell where the suspects and exactly how many suspects there are?
Right now, we just feel like we have at least 2 suspects. Where exactly they are in that building is unknown, at least to me. If the SWAT team members have an idea where they are at, that is certainly something that we wouldn't want to broadcast until those suspects are contacted.